Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A. We go over all latest news that happened during the week of mobile and answer your questions live. If you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below and I will answer it before the end of the show. Now, thank you guys as always for tuning in. Unfortunately, this week was a little bit, preoccupied. And I think I mentioned this last week that we had a leak, so had a lot to deal with, and gonna still be a couple more weeks of dealing with stuff with that leak because apparently we have to change walls and the entire ceiling on the first floor. So I do apologize. I will try to do a lot of videos tonight. One of which is going to be one that you guys have been requesting for a long time, and that is going to be a studio tour. I got everything kind of cleaned up and neater tonight so that hopefully I'll be able to record it tonight and then post it probably Tuesday morning. Or Wednesday morning, actually, because I have the Soundcore headphone review coming up from Anchor. Most comfortable headphones is going to be the title, and I do really mean that. These are actually the go-to now. I'm doing more if I'm using headphones at night before I go to sleep. They don't get as tiresome in my ear as some others do. So yeah. All right, let's get to the news for this week. So the big news this week, I will say, is definitely all about the Pixel 4a. Now, we are waiting to hear about this device, and I know I am. I'm really kind of interested in it. I know, I haven't heard anything from it, and which leads me to believe that it's going to be more towards June. I don't know. At least last year, I will say. Hopefully everything is running okay. My system seems to be lagging a little bit. Just going to try to quit some processes down. And hopefully that'll help. Sorry about that, guys. So basically for the Pixel 4a, it really is just a lot being talked about is the price tag. Although it might not be that impressive of a device, the biggest impressive part easily might be the fact that you are going to have one of, hopefully, let me know if it's lagging now. Again, we were having a little bit of a lag a second ago, but it seems to be working a bit better now. It turned off some things running in the background, so hopefully that'll help out. But let me know if it's still lagging. So for the Pixel 4a, it all seems to be talking about the price, and just because it's all around a good phone and with a great camera. So that's what we really kind of expect to see, and that's really kind of the big thing. Hold on one second. I'm going to see if my wife is... Okay. Hopefully the lag is fine now. You're good on lag now. Okay, hopefully the lag is okay now. So yeah, I will say that with the Pixel 4a, it's all about price, and the price we are leaning towards is very surprising. Right now, some people are claiming that it will be a 128 gig for $349, or it will be a 64 gig for $299. Now that is huge. That is a huge discount, and I'm really wondering if it's going to be true. That is just a huge price difference than we've seen in previous years. So I'm really curious to see if it's actually true. You're talking about $100 difference compared to last year, and really it is just so big, I think, for the $299 price point to get a phone with the camera quality of the Pixel 4a. And I am waiting till the end of May just because, again, we did have a strike on the channel, so I'm trying to be very careful of the videos I do. But a lot of this can be done with an app called Gcam. So if you haven't downloaded it before, Gcam is an app that I am using right now to show the differences on the TCL 10 Pro. Again, kind of the potential of what a smartphone has. because maybe out of the box, a $250 smartphone isn't going to shoot the best camera quality, but if you download this app, it'll actually be perfect quality, like perfectly acceptable. It will perform at the quality of a mid-range device, even though it would be an entry-level price device. And for the mid-range ones, they perform closer to a flagship smartphone, albeit it is slower processing, it still does the job. So that is what software can do and what the G camera software really does. So this kind of technology is available to other smartphones out there, and I will be a lot into that again after May 30th when my strike period is over. But until then, that's what we have to kind of do for right now. All right, then we have Next VR. Now for Next VR, that is going to be a big thing that really was the biggest VR highlight, I would say, back in the day when I was using it. So that is such a big thing that really impacted when I used Samsung Gear VR. So what it is Next VR is basically putting you front row or even like on a ring post in terms of boxing and like wrestling, right in the action. So it basically brought sports to VR, and I know they were going to do it with concerts and all this kind of stuff and everything with that. And the whole idea behind this company was that they were, partnering with these, all the leagues basically to kind of get you the VR experience. So they would put like a 3D thing inside of like a NASCAR car, and you would see how it is when driving, and you could turn around and there's a driver, and you could see everything. So that was a really cool thing about Next VR. So here's the big thing about it. Samsung has pretty much abandoned VR technology. They are ending their Gear VR. They're no longer planning on anything for that. But the biggest surprise to me is that Apple just bought Next VR. Now, why that is so important is because of the fact that Next VR, again, really only works with virtual reality. It does not work with AR, which is all that Apple's been concentrating on. Apple's only concentrated on augmented reality. But they just bought the biggest company in virtual reality, which they really haven't focused on at all. So that is something that is really, really big, in my opinion, that is going to just be very interesting to see what Apple does with this. Now, there is a very simple way to bring AR and VR together in this sense, where Next VR instead could be something like you're seeing a screen in front of you, but yet instead of a blacked out everything around you, Apple's augmented reality glasses just kind of dim everything else. So it dims everything else, and then you're still viewing it. Now, I don't think that would be as good of an experience. The whole thing about Next VR was it was so immersive, like it made you feel you were there. But again, it's still something very interested in. It already has been pulled from the Google Play Store. You can no longer get it on Samsung's either, and it's going to be very interesting. I know Oculus still has it, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this all moves. Which way is Apple going with this? Because Next VR is something that I just really did not expect that it would happen, but it really is something very interesting. They bought it, they own it now, so we'll see just how it does. And yeah, I'm very interested to see what you guys think. Are you guys at all still interested in VR? Is it kind of like a lost cause for you? Did you really love it? And we're kind of disappointed as it started not being supported anymore by Samsung. I thought that was a really big thing that really kind of frustrated a lot of people. As I remember last year, I got so many questions about, well, does this phone work with it? The Note 10 didn't work with VR. So everyone was kind of like, wait, how does it not work with it anymore? And it didn't, and Samsung was just not investing money in it anymore. There was rumors for the past year that they were going to work with Oculus on a kind of like Oculus Ghost type style, where you did not have to have a phone anymore. but that kind of fell apart. So it's really interesting to see. Oculus Go was pioneered with Xiaomi instead. So it's going to kind of be interesting to see how this moves forward in VR technology. It's technology that kind of like Google Glasses, where augmented reality really hasn't been paid much attention to. Now, you guys may know my favorite augmented reality out there is North, which I still use every time I wear glasses. I rock these, and these are great augmented reality, but they need more support. They need the support of a big company, to have things like Google Assistant, to have those kind of things on there. Overall, Alexa, I think, is great for the home, but not as important on the go. And that's where I think either Siri or Google Assistant will really bring the ecosystem there to it. So let me know again what you guys think about it. Are you interested in VR? Is the future AR? Which I totally believe the future is AR. I really, truly do believe that. But I'm very curious to see why Apple did this. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. All right. So if you have followed for the past couple of weeks, I really haven't been that interested in the Note 20. I have never not bought a Note, so I fully expect to buy a Note. And again, I stress that. I really do expect to buy a Note 20. Note 20 Plus, as we hear, that's not going to be Ultra. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Overall, with this, I will say that the new feature that's going to be brought is something that Apple has had, and it's something that Apple has on their iPads, and they've had it for a while, and that's the 120 hertz refresh rate, but in a specific kind of refresh rate. And that is with LTPO technology. The whole idea behind this, it's a variable refresh rate. So it's not constantly on, and it would switch a lot more often as to save battery life. Now, if you saw our S20 Ultra battery test, you see that yes, you do lose battery, but honestly, Samsung already had a killer battery life with the Ultra. The Ultra is a much better battery life than any other smartphone I've tested. It is the king of battery life, actually, especially if you did turn off the 120 hertz and put it to 60, it was amazing. But here's the thing. This technology is something that iPad pioneered, and I don't care for it, but it's supposed to basically be a way of kind of saving more battery life for it. I don't want a variable refresh rate. I want to always 120 hertz refresh rate. I'm okay with my phone taking that, but it's supposed to be kind of like a ploy that Samsung is doing in order for it to get it before Apple, because obviously the Note is going to be released before the iPhone 12 is. So it's just, I feel like it's really just more a ploy to do it than actually embracing the technology. It's a way for Samsung to kind of make it more affordable for them, because this way they make the same panel technology-wise for both themselves and for Apple moving forward. So I get it why they're doing it, but again, I think it's a cost-cutting measure more than the technology is better per se. But again, this was announced this week, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. But I don't think it actually doesn't make it worth it more to me. It's actually, I like the 120 hertz always on better, and even with the variable one, it's okay. But I mean, I'm so used to. I really, really, truly do love the Red Magic 5G for its 144 hertz, and that is just so good. All right, now how have smartphones been selling in Q1 of this year with everything going on? Well, first of all, let me remind you of what Q1 is. So Q1 is January, February, March. So March, obviously things were going bad, but not to the extent, and really it was mid-March when stuff kind of started getting shut down. But during that time, we've already seen a trend of iPhones still selling 11, 11 Pro Max, and XR, and Samsung, their highest selling ones were the 10e and the 20. Now, I'm very curious to see how this ends in Q2, which is April, May, June. Because with April, May, June, I think it's going to be a lot different. I think you're going to see the reigning one probably be the iPhone SE 2020. And I think it will be followed by the new A51 from Samsung. The A51 is actually their top selling one globally. but it hasn't sold as well here yet because it had barely come out at the end of March. Early end of March or early April, I want to say. But so it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to move forward and how it's going to go along. These are the older versions already, you know, an A21 coming out, and you can even get an unlocked A20 SE, or sorry, S series, but those are not the ones that carriers have. So the reason why these two are selling more is because it's the one carriers have. Carriers carry in the US the A10E and the A20. How did the quarter do overall in terms of sales though from all the companies? Bad. Pretty much every company is down. Google being the worst one of all, and that's because the Pixel 4, the Pixel 4 did not do as well. It definitely did not do as well even compared to the 3, which the 3 didn't do great, but it did better. ZTE is doing less as well, and I think that's just because less carriers carry ZTE now. ZTE is the one behind Red Magic as well, and Nubia. So they do have, again, more presence online for the higher end market, but not really for the low end as they did in carrier stores before this time last year. Then you also have, interestingly enough, OnePlus getting a slight bump up. So I think that's kind of interesting. Again, this did not include the OnePlus 8 in the sales, but it's kind of just showing that when OnePlus dropped the price of the 7T to the lows that it did, I mean, it was as low as $300 and $250 even with trade-in a lot of the times. So it really was very affordable pricing, and that did seem to work, again, before all of this went down. Everyone else, though, across the board, again, was very down. The market as a whole was down 21%. And that, again, is in the first quarter. So I'm very curious to see, with April and May being more of lockdown and definitely more restrained, it's going to be interesting to see how these sales keep going. If it's going to go further down or is it going to go up? Have you bought a cell phone in 2020? I'm very curious to hear you guys' thoughts on that, actually, to kind of judge just how our audience has done. Have you bought a cell phone in 2020? Obviously, I have. I bought the S20. The other ones were sent to me, so I've only, even myself, bought one. Well, two, if you count the Ultra I returned. Bought one cell phone myself, so even I have scaled back from what I was going to buy the OnePlus 8. OnePlus didn't have a trade-in from McLaren, so it was just useless to me. So yeah, overall, I really am just curious to see how this trend will move on. But let me know in the comment section, did you buy a smartphone in 2020 or no? The Surface Duo. Now this is the phone, this is a phone version of Microsoft's two new Surfaces that are coming out at the end of this year. One's going to be a tablet laptop, and one's going to be a phone with two screens. So here's the thing. It's kind of interesting, and it all will depend on the price with this device, I really feel like. So here's the specs we're getting. We're getting 6 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. Perfectly fine. But there is also going to be a year-old processor in there, the Snapdragon 855. So just to give you an idea, that's the 855. That's not even the 855 Plus. That's the 855. So that's the processor that came on the S10 last year. So definitely an older processor. I don't know why they couldn't at least give it this 855 Plus, but that is one of the big cost-cutting measures they're doing for this device. 6 gigs of RAM. There will be 64 gigs storage, but there'll also be a 2 to 6 gigs, so we'll see which one is going to be at what price. 3,460 battery. Now this is a really poor battery with two displays. I don't know what Microsoft is doing to optimize it. It's a 1080p display. It's not a 2K display, but it's still two displays. 11 megapixel camera, f2.0 aperture. That is a horrible aperture for a camera this day and age. I mean, you want to at least get a 1.8 if anything, and most other smartphones are 1.7 and 1.5, even with the new pixel sensors. So yeah, For me, I don't think it's that great spec so far, so we'll really kind of can see how it does. I'm afraid of this device being so expensive that it's a failure, and that's what I see right now, because these are mid-range specs in a sense, you know, outdated last year's specs. So if Microsoft tries to charge $1,000+ for it, it won't sell. It'll be another Motorola, in terms of, you know, they tried everything they could with the Razr and it flopped. So that's what I see happening again. So this was some interesting news that I felt came out of nowhere, and I'm kind of surprised because I didn't think Facebook would be buying anything for a while with all the antitrust things they have going on. But Facebook just bought Giphy, and Giphy is basically a big service that I know I use for most of my GIF finding needs. Every time I want to send someone a GIF, I typically download it from the Giphy app and then share it. That is typically what I do to share it. Some keyboards have it, like, so I do use it depending on the app. If it's a text messaging app, I will use the built-in GIF availability for SwiftKey, which is my favorite keyboard of choice, but even that uses from Giphy. So Facebook just bought this company, and it's really interesting. I think, again, it's the biggest probably GIF library, I would say, on the internet. So it's really going to be interesting to see how it's integrated with Facebook and if it changes. That's the one thing I really, you know, Instagram has changed night and day since Facebook bought it. So I'm really kind of curious to see how this company will go. Not to mention WhatsApp has gone through a lot of changes and a lot of blowback with those changes. So we'll see how Giphy does. $400 million is what it was purchased for. And then finally, I don't think this is a surprise to anyone, but it is looking more concrete now. And that is Motion Sense is reportedly not returning to the Pixel 5. It makes complete sense. It was a sensor that didn't gain notoriety or any kind of publicity, rather than just trying it out for the first week, and that was pretty much it, unfortunately. You know, I do like gesture controls, but I mean, I like gesture controls for the old sensors we had. So up until we started getting these hole punches, so basically in the Note 9 you could still get this, you actually had your proximity sensor working with an app called Wave Control. I used to do all these videos with it, and basically it did the same thing, but with the proximity sensor. So if you waved like this, you could skip a song. You could wave like this to go back. You could hold it above to pause, and it was just a really cool app that I used a lot when driving. I thought it was really very useful for that. Unfortunately, the new proximity sensors are underneath the display now, and no apps really have the ability to use them like they used to. So Wave Control doesn't work anymore, but that was one app that, again, I never saw the reason for this sensor, because other than, you know, allowing you to unlock with securely face unlock, it didn't really matter. And honestly, it still doesn't get supported by banks with this face unlock, just because banks are afraid to do it with Android in general, because this phone and the Mate series from Huawei are the only ones that really support secure face unlock and not just the one that can easily be passed. So yeah, it's gone. It's not coming back, at least not this year. Maybe if they do better features for it. I just think that technology can be used in better ways, namely with something like a smartwatch or something along those lines. I think you can use that technology better. All right, guys, that was the news for this week. Now let's get to your questions. Again, if you have a question you want to ask, just ask in the comment section down below, and I will answer before the end of the show. It looks like none of you guys said anything about any more lagginess, so hopefully that lagginess did go away. All right. Will you buy the Mate 40 Pro when it comes out? Absolutely not. Have no interest. Just to give you guys a little bit insider information, Huawei's US division for marketing isn't around anymore, which makes sense, right? So the people I used to contact for Huawei smartphones, they moved on to different branding because, again, Huawei just wasn't doing anything anymore in the US. So no, I will not be getting the Huawei smartphones anymore, and just because in the US, They're not being anywhere near sold like they used to be. And they weren't really, important before, but now they really aren't important in the US. And yeah, without Google Apps, it's just not worth it to me. So no, I have no interest in buying a Huawei phone any time in the near future. Based on the leaks so far, which are you going to buy, the Note 20 Plus or the Galaxy Fold 2? So here's the thing, I will buy both. Which one will I return is going to be the more interesting question. Because I will buy both because I have a YouTube channel, so I will review both, and I don't think Samsung will send me either device. But which one will I keep is going to be the interesting question. It's very interesting because if the Fold 2 has an S Pen, it has a very good chance of me keeping the Fold 2 over the Note. The thing that could stop me from it is the battery life and the camera technology. If that is better on the Note 20 Plus, that might get me to stay. If the screen, if the screen refresh rate isn't the 120 Hertz, that might get me to stay too. So these are the things that I'm very curious to see if we can get on the Fold device. Better cameras, better battery, and better screen quality. These are the things that I plan on finding out. But overall, with how it's going right now, if they had the same specs, I would definitely get the Fold 2 more. And again, I have not had a Note at the end of the year in forever, but if it has an S Pen, it's a Note to me. So yeah. Should we buy the Note 20 or wait for the S21 or wait for the Note 21? I mean, that's very hard to, because everyone buys phones different times of the year, buys phones different times every 2 years. So it's very difficult to announce. The big thing that, the S21 is supposed to bring more changes. Samsung, it really seems to be looking more towards the S21 than the Note 20 in terms of changes. One of the biggest leaps could be definitely the graphics. AMD processors are going to be coming to Samsung next year, it's supposed to be. Now, whether that'll be coming to the S21 or the Note 21 is going to be an interesting to see, but that will be a huge leap forward. That could also be changed with, having a better processing chip for camera quality. I don't think Samsung is going to improve the image processor this time around. I think they're just going to more fix software issues. But in the S21, I could definitely see them, because they need to, out of necessity, improve an image processor on the actual camera, or do what Apple and Google does, which is do a separate processor just for photography in general. And I think they need that. I don't know if they need to talk to Google or make a partnership, but right now Samsung has the best camera hardware pretty much out there, but they are severely lacking in the software department. And that is where Apple and Google are beating them in terms of software. So if Samsung theoretically has the best hardware, all they need to do is match Google and Apple in software, and they will outclass them. Will we see that this year? No. Will we see that next year? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Hey Ricky, how's the family and quarantine treating y'all? Hey Rosin, it is okay. This weekend was so great. My wife knows I've been doing a lot of work lately, and she totally let me kind of space out yesterday, and I just played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I got a lot further. I played pretty much most of the day. I felt guilty because I wasn't spending time with the family, but she kind of let me know it was okay, basically. Like, I still watched some shows with my daughter and that kind of stuff, but like, I really had the day to myself, which was very different for me. So yeah, still trying to figure out the situation. We have these like drying fans that are very loud, and finally we just turn them off here and there because they're just so loud, and we want to be able to hear each other downstairs. So that's been, I would say, the biggest change this past week. We're in our own rooms instead of normally we all get together in the living room, but the living room has not been as usable. So yeah, we'll kind of wait and see how that turns out. But in terms of quarantine, I can't say that I've had it bad. I've been having a lot of work in my day-to-day job. I still have a job, so I'm very thankful for that. And, you know, I feel like I haven't done as much on YouTube as I would like, but I'm hoping to change that after this whole leak situation resolves itself. But yeah, there is a little issue with that, but again, hoping to get past that for sure. All right. Let's see. You're cool, dude. Letting you know for the record. Well, thank you, Saw9. I really appreciate that. Rigsby doesn't get strikes. Yeah, I wish I didn't get a strike. And the thing that YouTube was really bad about is they don't tell you what the strike is. Like, I get the automated strike, right? Okay, Google finds something, it just, okay, no, this is flagged as a strike, so strike. But a person reviews it. When the person reviews it because you are appealing the strike, they should just tell you it's because of this. The reason why this is bad, and all they do is, oh, take a look at our policy. I read the policy. The policy doesn't tell me what I did wrong. So, you know, it's just like, I've been a little bit on edge. So like, oh, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to show this or whatever. So yeah, it's a big thing about how to do it, and hopefully it will change. So yeah. How's the TCL 10 Pro doing? It's doing pretty good. I am just switching to it for my main driver, meaning I put my SIM card in it. I'm moving everything over from my other phone to it. So I do believe that it will be good after good and set up after today. So very excited to see how that goes. But yeah, I'm ready to kind of set up. I can tell you the Google camera on here looks absolutely amazing. The built-in software isn't as good, but Google camera at night is really good on this phone. So yeah, like with the Google camera, it's better than the OnePlus 8. So yeah, it has the hardware, it just needs the software. Love your videos. How are you and your family? Will we ever see wifey on the channel again? I don't know if my wife will be on the channel, especially during quarantine times. You know, I can take care of this. I can shave, I can get a haircut, I can do all that stuff, even though I truly believe my wife is beautiful every single day of my life. You know, she says during quarantine she wouldn't be camera ready. So I would love to have her on there back one day, but we will have to wait and see. She is definitely loving Animal Crossing, and I am so happy that she found a great game that, you know, really makes her happy. And I'm so happy when I can kind of, you know, do something to. It's always the little things that's great when you can do to make the people you love happy. So I'm very happy that I was able to provide that for my Switch, and then kind of show her how she could use it even better, so that at night she could use it while our son is sometimes having sleepless nights. Just a quick reminder, Ricky will answer your questions. I never tried or had VR/AR. Yeah, it's nothing I would say the biggest thing missing, but definitely something nice to have. Hey, one whole bunch of questions just loaded. Everybody drink. But two, thank you for the super chat donations from, hopefully I pronounced this correctly, Fan Zhang. Thank you for that super chat donation. And then also from MFX, thank you as always. I love the fox with the hearts, and it looks like a bird handing me coffee. Yes, I drank coffee late today, so might be up for it a little while tonight, which is good because I want to get that behind the scenes video for you guys. All right. Let's see. Honestly, I kind of forgot about VR for a while. Yeah, so did I. Really, I'm like, oh yeah, VR was still around, huh? I used VR maybe a handful of times, gave up on it. I still have the Gear VR glasses. I think I have 2 Gear VRs. I don't think I got rid of them. I think they're like in one of the cabinets I have somewhere. But yeah, I haven't used it for a while for sure. Is anyone having issues with the Pixel Buds not responding to hands-free after like 20 minutes? I do not use my Pixel Buds anymore. I honestly don't know where they went after the move. My original Pixel Buds, I do not have the new ones, the Pixel Bud 2s, so I do not know about those. VR makes me feel like I'm going to lose my dinner. It makes me dizzy, and it's not for me. Yeah, some people have just had a really negative effect for it. I remember I had a party when VR was like popular, and I told everyone to try it out and everything like that, and everyone seemed to enjoy it pretty much, except for one of my friends that acted a little bit drunk and knocked over like a drink and everything like that because he wanted to be eccentric. And that kind of killed VR for me after that. So I blame him for it. You know who you are. Let's see. The 12 won't have it, not coming to the iPhone next year. That is the rumor right now, although I'd be surprised if the iPhone doesn't have a 120 Hz refresh rate. We'll have to wait and see. Do you think Samsung will get rid of the nasty punch hole on the Note 20 if it will be in the Note line? The hole punch will be on the Note 20. That is a definite. The next year was supposed to be the year that they had the under the camera display, but with this year how it's turning out, we'll have to wait and see for sure. Ricky, can an Android phone and a Windows phone complement each other, or is it the best to go with Apple ecosystem? Apple ecosystem was always strong and device worked well together. So it depends on what you want to do, per se. So for one, you have Samsung, which probably has the best partnership, and that is Samsung now has at the top of their display the ability. So if you swipe down here, you have the ability to link to Windows. So link to Windows and you download the phone companion on your PC. These two combinations allow you to text message from your computer, allow you to accept phone calls from your computer. So the iMessage kind of story. And it allows you to do phone screen mirroring. So you can actually mirror your phone to your computer, which is something that I still believe that Apple can't do. Samsung used to do with a great app called SideSync, but for some reason they stopped supporting it, which sucked. But Samsung had for a long time done this kind of stuff before. Then they just kind of cut support to it and changed over to Windows doing all the work and heavy lifting. So, but yes, Windows does this very well. I literally have this up on my screen right now, and so I could screen mirror everything to my from my phone to it, and as soon as it gets in Wi-Fi, it automatically connects. So it really is good in that aspect, and I would recommend using it. So if you need another way, let me know. But I mean, with screen mirroring, you can drag and drop things from your phone to your vice versa. So it really is good in that aspect. Let's see. Regarding the Note 20 series, the price goes very high. A lot of people will pass. I'm still in loving with my Note 10, even though even with 700 trade up value, it's still expensive. 1,400 have to go. Yeah, I agree. I think they shouldn't price themselves out as they did with the S20 Ultra and S20 Plus. I think both those phones were overpriced, and I think hopefully, it will drop in price as it goes along. I don't know if it went down. Let's check. I feel like we're checking every week now to see if the S20s have gone down again. So let me just see Galaxy S20 and see if they have gone down in price. Now, unlocked variants for sure have gone down in price. You can get an unlocked S20, or sorry, international S20 for $784. So international ones you can get pretty cheap. The unlocked variants, no, what they're doing with the unlocked variants right now is giving you the free dual wireless charger and free Galaxy Buds for free. So that's what they're doing right now, but they are normal price, $999, $100, $1,200, and of course the Ultra is still the $1,400, which again is ridiculous in my opinion. They shouldn't be that expensive, but we'll have to wait and see if they drop in price further. As of right now, none of them are on sale. They just have that deal going on for Amazon. All right. Of course, you have trade-ins through carriers and through their own website, but I just like to see if you just want to buy the phone outright, can you get a discount? Let's see. No phone is worth $1,000 with or without a pandemic. Look, I can understand a phone company charging over $1,000 for a bendable phone. I can understand them going up to $1,200, $300 in an ideal world, and that be it. I get they want to make more profit margin, so that's why they're overcharging. But again, I do see it as overcharging. I really do. So that's where it is. But other than that, I kind of agree with you. I don't believe that the Notes and the S series and the iPhones should be over $1,000. They don't warrant it in terms of the only reason they're that price is because they want to keep their high profit margins. That's the only reason they're that price. It's not like it cost them to do it, and they wouldn't sell it at a loss if they put it. If they sold the iPhone 11 Pro Max at $1,000, it's not like Apple's losing money. It's not. It's not like Samsung would be losing money if they sold the S20 Ultra at $1,000. They wouldn't. But they're just not getting as much money as they want. So yeah, that's. I agree with that. I don't think most of them should be that. Can you recommend a cheap but comfortable gaming office chair? You know, I have not had a lot of experience in those. I would love to kind of look around more for ones. The one I have no complaints about. I have the Killer Bee chair. Now this one was one that was sent to me for review. So I don't think I don't think they have one under $250. I'm not sure what you mean by cheap. You know, cheap, when I think of a gaming chair, I think of $150 being cheaper. But for me, I also always look at the weight capacity. You know, I always look at the weight capacity because obviously I'm, over 250. And so I always kind of look, well, can it take up to 300 just to, be safe or whatever. So those are the kind of things that I always kind of look at, in my opinion, for making sure that it's priced right. But yeah, I mean, I've wanted to get one of those really luxurious office chairs forever, but I cannot pay $1,000 for a chair. And they go higher than that. And it's just like, I don't think I would ever spend more than $300 for a chair myself. So that is kind of my price limit. I feel like maybe I will someday, but it is something, especially right now, I spend probably more time in my chair than I do my own bed, during the week. So it's definitely something that right now during this time where I'm working at home, that I definitely would say a chair is good and you should spend money on it, if you're working from home. But yeah, something that I can't spend more than $300 for, in my opinion. But Killer Bee, I've had no real complaints about this one. Yeah, I want one of those that's really good for the spine and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Hey Ricky, recommend a cloud storage solution. Which would you recommend, and does it come down to personal choice? I think it does come down to personal choice, and also what you're using it for. So I use Google Drive. I pay $2 a month for 200 gigs. I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that. Like, it's been everything I need. That's the only one that I pay for. You know, I have Dropbox, the free 5 gigs of storage. Dropbox I do like for sharing more. So if it's a storage that you share files with other people, I like Dropbox. I think it's the best one still for that purpose. But that's, I think, the real main differentiation is that, is it just for yourself or is it for sharing with others? Again, for Google Drive, it really is great. And Google Photos, you know, I have unlimited backup for Google Photos. You save it at high resolution, so it'll put it down to a 12 megapixel image. But I mean, I have unlimited backup for Google Photos and it doesn't take anything out of my Google Drive. So that is the biggest thing that I would recommend is Google Photos for all your photo needs and then Google Drive. But if you're sharing, Dropbox. Let's see. Traded my Note 9 for the Galaxy S20 Plus in Verizon variant. Nice. Cool. How have you liked it so far, Roland? Let's see. I will upgrade to the Note 20 if 2 things happens. Number 1, no more nasty hole punch, so you're not upgrading. And 2, there's no way I'm paying $1,000 for a phone, so you're not upgrading. Basically, does it count if you can trade in your phone? Because it'll be under $1,000 if you trade in your phone. I have not bought a phone in 2020, hoping Note 20 will be better than I've seen the leaks. Yeah, they haven't been that good in the leaks. Does Wi-Fi power mode work? Yes, but I will say that it has caused some apps to be not as reliable, as in they don't come through right away. It's like a delayed on it. So I wouldn't use it if you're working or during the week. Maybe during the weekend if you don't have anything important, but yeah, not during the week. Hey, we got another a whole bunch of questions loaded, so everybody drink. And 2, thank you to Brian Wilson for the Super Chat donation. Really appreciate it so much. Again, if you have a question to ask, just please ask it. And all of you, ask your questions before the end of the show, as we're going to wrap up in about 15 minutes or so. Just a real quick question. I'm not buying Samsung at those crazy prices. Thinking the Google 4A, I'm a little skeptical if it's that cheap. Yeah, we'll have to see what they trade off for it. But yeah, we'll see. Hope the leak and walls and houses stuff will be solved soon and easily. Thank you, I appreciate that. Do you think Google should partner with celebrities to have with Pixel sales, or have they in the past? No, they haven't, but I don't think that's the best thing. It's very simple in my opinion. I don't get how the marketing companies or how. It's very simple. There's 2 ways you are going to sell a smartphone in the US. Only 2 ways. There's only 2 ways of doing it, and for it to be successful. LG, OnePlus, you know, all these other companies are trying to do these smartphones and they're not going to sell. And this is why. There's only 2 ways you can make a successful smartphone in the US and your name not be Samsung or Apple. Number 1, you put in high-end components and undercut on pricing. It was OnePlus's old strategy. And it is what some new smartphone competitors like the Red Magic 5G are doing to kind of gain a foothold. And they need desperately help with software, but again, for $579, you get a phone faster than every S20 out there. So good when it comes to it. And you get the Google camera on there, and you have a better camera than the OnePlus 8 Pro. So there's that option. That is one option, and that is how you can be successful. That was OnePlus's strategy for many years till they stopped doing it. But what I mean by stop doing it, I mean is that they kept kind of wanting to put higher and higher in components and wanted to get more profit margin, which is fine. It's a business. I get it, but you're not going to sell as many. And then fans feel like you betrayed them. They don't get the business side of it, so you don't get sales. The other way, the only other way to have a successful a successful smartphone that sells in the US is one other way. And that is what Pixel tried to do when they first came out. And that is try to match Apple or Samsung in marketing. Make sure everyone knows about this phone, and then pray you made the phone good enough that reviewers will recommend it. That's the other option. If you can make a phone good enough, which Pixel did not the first year, they did a much better job the second year, but had, bumps along that way too. But if you can make a phone that gets out in the public and gets everyone's attention, and then everyone just wants to know, okay, MKBHD, okay, Unbox Therapy, okay, is it good? And if they are like, yeah, this is a good alternative. It really has actually outshined Apple and Samsung in this aspect or this aspect, then you get sales. Those are the only two ways to make a successful smartphone in the US. Period. Now, right now, you have kind of a third one, but really it's just a cheaper version of what my first example was. You make a phone that has a really good camera and battery life, $400 or under, that's really good. So again, kind of just the high-end specs and undercutting everyone else in price, but you're just doing it at an even cheaper level. That phone will outsell everything else if it's done right. Pixel 4a might be that phone. Unfortunately, I think it's just going to have a good camera and good software, and that's it. If it could have a good battery life as well, then it might get people's attention more. But those are the only ways to make a good smartphone in the US. Companies that heard me, I will take a check. All right. Let's see. I keep hearing Apple glasses coming soon, not till 2021, if that, but we'll see. Like Samsung partnered with BTS in Korea, yes, they did do that. But those partnerships are always kind of faulty if the celebrity doesn't actually use the phone. And what I mean by that is that, here's the thing. Celebrities don't post anything themselves, really, right? 90% of the time, they have an entourage that's doing all their social media for them. The problem with that is these idiots in those entourages post from an iPhone. They might even take the photo with the Google Pixel. They'll set up the shot like, oh, LeBron using his Samsung S10, and then post with an iPhone. So these people are idiots. But basically, and I say this, by the way, as a social media manager, so I know what they're doing. But it's really something that they shouldn't do, and it's something so stupid. And that makes the celebrity endorsement worthless. As soon as you see that post, it makes it worthless. As soon as you see, LeBron or whoever rocking Beats instead of the Samsung phones, or instead of, the HTC or whatever, like, Robert Downey Jr. was HTC's endorser. Of course he still had an iPhone too, and he was photographed with an iPhone and all that. So it's just like, it really is something that we'll see. But I don't believe in celebrity endorsements if not done properly. Can you get the Gcam app on the Note 10 Plus? Just hearing about this lately. Yes, you can. You can get it pretty much any Android device. Just if you Google Gcam APK download, you can find it. Just be careful, because a lot of those websites want you to click on the ads. So they'll say things like download now in big font, but it's not, that's an ad. So just be careful with that. I just wish I would charge so much for phones. I just wish they would charge much for phones. I agree. Whoa, a whole bunch of questions loaded. Everybody drink. I want a scouter with power levels. Amen to that. I just want an augmented reality glasses to give me someone's power level and have my power level be over 9,000. That's all I want. Isn't that what we all want, really? Hope you and your family will be fine with the pandemic. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. You know, I pray for everyone that has been affected by it. Yeah, I just pray for everyone that. So yeah. How are the two best apps, that app and of course 51st Date Questions? Well, app is doing just fine. Hopefully it just sleeps through the night more. As for 51st Date Questions, if you didn't know, we have an app called 51st Date Questions. It's a game I created a long time, 2 years ago or something like that. And if you download it, I really do appreciate it. It's a very simple game. Basically, you just play the game with someone else. You can social distance while doing it and just ask them questions and they ask you questions. And you find out things about each other. You can play it on a first date or you can play it after 10 years. Honestly, it's a great way to kind of remember things about someone and also learn some things about it because people do change. They definitely do. So I would definitely recommend it. Download it today on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Those links are in the description down below. It'll have 120 hertz, but the panel won't be LTPO. So word is it'll be set at the resolution 120 hertz. Apple's testing currently, depending on the battery performance, 120 hertz might not be. Got it. I understand that. And I get it. People are worried about the battery life, especially Apple, who has smaller batteries in their smartphones. So we'll have to wait and see. But Samsung has plenty of big batteries that can take it. So that's why I just am not excited for it to be on Samsung devices. Why are people with the Note 10 even looking at the Note 20? You just got the phone last year. These are... I mean, here's the thing. Some people upgrade every year. It's just, you know, either a force of habit or just something they want to do, and it's a way to treat yourself. Some people upgrade every 2 years. Some people upgrade every 5 years. It really just depends on the person. I just say, you know, be financially responsible in terms of make sure everything else is taken care of. It's what I always recommend for. You know, I remember when I would go into T-Mobile stores or Sprint stores, all these kind of things, and they would jokingly say, but definitely being real, that, you know, yeah, this person that would come in and buy the latest iPhone with their, you know, tax check and literally might not have enough to pay for their rent. So priorities are a big thing in life that I recommend, but yeah, that's just one thing. And make sure you're financially responsible and everything else. And then if, you know, whatever makes you happy, definitely that's what you should spend money on, as long as everything else is set, you know. As long as you have food on the table, roof over your head, and all that kind of stuff, then if gaming is your thing, do that. If concerts are your thing, do that. If traveling is your thing, do that. You definitely should do something that makes you happy, but just be responsible with everything else and then do what you need to. That is something that I wish I had learned earlier on in my life, and definitely learned it more in my mid-20s and up, more so, and, you know, paid off all my debts that I had built up when I was a teen and up. So yeah, it's something that I wish I had learned earlier and definitely recommend. Hey, Kylo Tech, thank you for the super chat donation. I definitely appreciate it. Really thankful. Again, if you have more questions, feel free to ask. What do you think is the future of Microsoft and Android? That is a really good question. And it's just really hard to tell right now. It's kind of hard to tell right now because they're just really starting to build off of each other. I want to see more things, you know, with Office. I want to see more Office integration between Windows and Android. I think that would be really good. What I really want to see, and supposedly Microsoft patents are the things that stop this, but I've not done this review on this product, and I've had it for over, I think, 2 years now. Wow, this is actually really heavy when I lift it. So it's Chewy is the brand, right? And this is a tablet with a keyboard, right? So tablet with keyboard. But this has a very unique feature. It is a computer with both Android and Windows. It is a dual booted computer. And when you literally start it, you get to choose which one you want. It might be dead battery right now. Oh no, there it goes. But that is a unique thing that I would love to see Samsung or Apple or one of them do that. And you can't see it right now, but I can choose either Android or Windows right here and then just start into that. So, and touchscreen. So I can launch either Android or Windows. So this was a device that I fell in love with the concept. The execution's not good on it. But I will be doing a review on this one. And yeah, I would just love to see that concept. That is the concept that I've always wanted to have. I remember the Samsung Ativ Q was supposed to be the first Samsung laptop that dual booted. It had Android and Windows, never came out. Apparently it was because of Microsoft's patents that would not allow it. Don't know if that's true, because it literally got kind of swept under the rug, like nothing to see here. But that was one of the things I was really looking forward to, and I would love for that to be the future of Android and Microsoft. I would just love to have Android apps on Microsoft. Like, Microsoft's store is garbage. So can we just put Google's Play Store on my, like, I would love to have Android apps on Microsoft without doing BlueStacks or some third-party way. Something like this, a dual boot would be great, but yeah, that's the kind of thing I would love to see. How much would a Note 21 Rigsby edition cost? That's all the Infinity Stones, 7 Dragon Balls, and Death Note. Yeah, that sounds about right. You would have to give me either all the Infinity Stones or all 7 Dragon Balls, and you would get a Rigsby edition phone. Get to looking. Is Rigsby real? I mean, Rigsby is real, but it's just, you know, state of mind most of the time. I just bought the Note 9 4 months ago. I paid $400. Nice price. For the case, screen protector, yeah. I mean, the Note 9 is still a great phone for sure. Note 20 or Note 21, help me please. The Note 20 hasn't come out yet. Let the Note 20 come out and I will better be able to answer that question. Until then, I can't really answer it for sure. Get those last questions in, guys. We are going to be ending soon. Does Wi-Fi power saving mode actually work? Yes, it does save power. It really actually does. But again, if you're getting like emails, you're going to stop noticing you're getting emails on time. Like there is a lot of issues that I had with it that I turned it off. I think actually one of my friends had an issue with it and asked me about it, and I was like, is this on? And it was like Wi-Fi saving something or something like that, and or data saver. And as soon as you turn that off, it saved. It was much better. So yeah, I don't recommend it. These reviewers, I feel only US techies really watch these guys, not so much the mass consumers. US techies watch which one? Sorry, which one did you mean? XDA Developers has the most of Gcam APKs on their site. Yeah, they have one of the biggest collections. CyanogenMod has a huge now one too that rivals them. But yeah, wherever you can find it, definitely you can get Gcam. I've been able to find it for each phone I use now, so I have no issues anymore. I think it was with the last update that Google did, it made it actually so that this year's phones work perfectly with it. Blondes or brunettes? Brunettes for me. I meant US, us techies, like us tech heads. Yeah, for sure. Only us tech heads really watch these guys, not so much the mass consumers. You'd be surprised. I mean, people say that, but here's the thing. So here's how it spreads, right? So I'm a techie, right? And say I didn't have a YouTube channel. I would be watching people like MKBHD, Mr. Mobile, all these different people to see if an item is good. If I were to watch them and base my decision only on them because I trust their opinion, then I get it. Guess what everyone around me then does? Mass consumers that don't watch those tech people. They ask me. I tell them, oh, I research my phones. I know everything about phones. I recommend this phone. I bought it because of this recommendation, and now I use it. That is why it works. So you're right in the sense that, yeah, a lot of techie people will not watch MKBHD, Unbox Therapy, all those different, high, 10 million plus subscribers. You're right, but they do listen to word of mouth from their tech friends, and their tech friends are the ones that do watch them. So that's how it works, and that's why I said it that way. That yes, techies are the only ones that are going to listen to it, but if it's in the market, and again, that's why you have to do the marketing to rival Apple and Samsung, because what happened with the Pixel is they really marketed well, and they marketed with Verizon, so it really blew up. And it was like, you could see it on I saw billboards of the Pixel, even exceeding Samsung's billboards at that time. And so I was like, man, Pixel is really going all out. I, of course, knew about it. I was in the inn. But I would see it everywhere. And if I were to see it everywhere and I was in the market for a new phone, I would look it up. If I look it up, I see a video on it. Oh, this video will tell me if it's good. That's why you have to have the marketing first. The marketing is more important than influencers. But if you have the marketing, then the influencers agree with the marketing, then that's how you sell phones. The difference between Wi-Fi 6 and 5G phones, don't forget the iPhone 11 Pro and iPad Pro have Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 6 is great, but there's almost no Wi-Fi 6 routers out there that are actually in consumers' hands. Wi-Fi 6 is really coming out this year. Wi-Fi 6 Wi-Fi mesh routers are finally coming out this year. I was actually shocked that I couldn't really find one last year when I was trying to look for a new router. So yeah, they're really still fairly new. But yes, all smartphones should start having it. All laptops, everything should start having Wi-Fi 6 because it's really important. Now, here's the main thing about Wi-Fi 6. It really only matters if you have it at the same distance. Right where my printer is back there, that is where my router is. So if my router is that far away with not that much blocking it, my laptop to my router can completely see each other. My laptop is right here. It has line of sight to my router. That is when Wi-Fi 6 is at its best. Wi-Fi 6, just like 5G, isn't going to go through any walls, so it really wouldn't matter to anyone else in the house. But if you have a mesh router system, say I have one in my living room, line of sight to my gaming consoles and all that kind of stuff, and I'm hoping PS5 and the next Xbox will have Wi-Fi 6, that's where it really matters, and that's where it really counts. And hopefully TVs will start having Wi-Fi 6, because Lord knows TVs need better Wi-Fi, I swear. So that would be really good too. I want the Pixel and Google to succeed so bad, but it's just been so... I see most people walk into T-Mobile, and the first thing the clerk does is go to an iPhone or Samsung. Oh, absolutely. Carriers are going to go with what they know, first of all, more than anything. They're not going to recommend a phone unless they know it. That's why actually manufacturers try to give them phones. So if you go into a T-Mobile, there is a brand ambassador for an iPhone, there's a brand ambassador for a Samsung, there's a brand ambassador for a OnePlus, there's a brand ambassador for a Google phone, LG phone. They try to give them free phones so that you'll know it and that person that works there will recommend it. That's what they try to do. Whoa! Thank you so much, Biggs, for another really generous super chat donation. I really do thank you every time you do it. And thank you so much again. Seriously, it's helped out for sure. So yeah, thank you and everyone for the super chat donations. I really do appreciate it. And again, always feel free not only to just leave the super chat donation, but if you want to ask a question, feel free to ask questions. I try to answer everyone's question, no matter what. But again, for those who do super chat donations, I try to answer it first. And thank you so much again for that. Let's see. I don't trust any of the guys you named. You are the only one I trust. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I try to be as real, as honest as I can. Been watching you since you started on YouTube, and same person, be respect to you, Rick. Thank you so much, Black Sabbath. I really do appreciate that, and it means a lot. I try to be as honest as I can be, so yeah, I really do appreciate that. I swear most of these reviews are paid. They are in a sense, like, because some of them are sponsored, and that's really always messed up when I don't think you should do. I try to even not do sponsored reviews unless, like, the only time I'll do a sponsored review, and just kind of to let you guys know, is if I was already feeling that way. I cannot tell you how many cheap phone companies, Bluetooth companies for sure, all these different companies try to have me do sponsored videos, and I won't do it. And the reason I don't do it is just because of the simple fact that I don't want to sponsor a product that I don't believe in. So that's one thing you can always know about me. Like, if, like, you know, this company, I did a sponsored video for them, Killer Bee, right? I had to like the chair first. They sent me it, I liked it, and then they offered to do me a sponsored video. But in fact, I was probably going to review it anyway. So then I'll do a sponsored video because I was already liking the product. I just don't feel it's right to be disingenuous with anyone out there, because it doesn't serve a purpose. You're just being fake, and it's just like if I like a product like this chair, sure, I'll do a sponsored video for it because I like the chair to begin with. Or else I would have told them, no, I cannot do a sponsored video. And I have done that. I have literally gotten, like, you know, headphones where they'll send them to me. I reviewed them, and they've offered me $500, $1,000, and I said no. It's not probably the smartest thing, but I don't want to do that and be fake. So yeah, that's a little bit behind the scenes. Whoa, hey Brian, thank you so much again for another super chat donation. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. Will Best Buy ever open up again? I think it will, yes, but again, I don't want to get into politics here, but I think we're probably going to have more shutdowns. That's what I believe. We'll have to wait and see how it all turns out. Don't want to get into politics here. Really don't. Just everyone keep that kind of to yourself. But I do think Best Buys will open up again. I think they're still going to do pickups for the foreseeable next 2 months, and then we'll see how things turn out from there. Don't want to get into politics again. What new phone you can't wait to see? The Fold 2. The Fold 2 is a phone that I really am interested in, and if it lives up to the hype, I will be so excited for it. Keep it real, Ricky. I know you will, and thank you for your honest work. I always will have my support. Thank you. I really do appreciate that again, Black Sabbath. All right, guys, we will call that a show. Thank you guys always so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you can, before you leave, please make sure to give a like, thumbs up. It really does help us out. And again, any videos that you've seen recently, if you can share them on your social media, it always helps us out. YouTube definitely has cut ad revenue, but hopefully we can make it up and getting a few more views here and there every month. Thank you guys always so much for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the perfect video for you. Or at least that's what YouTube tells me.